managed to be worse than this first one. I don't know how, but it did. Some of the humor was a little bit better, but most of the humor was really bad. And this movie was about the same length as the first movie. They were both like an hour and 18 minutes. Very short. There isn't as many corny jokes as the first one had, but there still is a lot of corny jokes. Which you shouldn't have to say that there's a lot of something for a shorter movie. This is shorter than most movies. Most movies are at least an hour and a half. This doesn't reach that point. Yet it still has a lot of bad jokes. There's one where this guy says, "Keep your hands off her," or something like that. No, it's, "Give her a hand," and then he gets his hand ripped off, and they throw it on stage. Woo! So clever, never heard that one before. Just a very lazy sequel. Some of the gore is a bit better, but most of the gore is just lazy. Just cheap thrill kills. The movie actually opens up with calling you a loser. The movie opens up with this commercial that they play throughout the movie about this new beer company that has like the villains of the movie. They're also like shapeshifters or some bullshit. And the movie opens up calling you a loser. And that's how he sells his beer. And he actually kills somebody on the set because they accidentally touched him in the head with a mic during the commercial. That's like one of the first kills of the movie. Willie's back. So I guess he's not dead. They don't really explain it very well. They have another animal sex scene in this movie, with Willie now having a sister that was never mentioned in the first movie. Which is weird since this movie was a direct sequel. It came out like a year after, and it was immediately planned when the first movie ended. So you'd think they would have at least hinted at him having a sister in the first movie. But she's really just a plot device and a person that has sex with wolfcop in one scene. And this time, it's not wolfcop, becoming a werewolf and having sex with someone. It's her turning into like this cat-like thing. It's very weird. They don't explain it either. She does it by like snorting moon rocks. Like, get it, moon rocks? Werewolves turn into werewolves because of the moon. It's lazy and unfunny. They also have 2 new cops in this movie. Scott. I think it was Diana was the other one. I'm not sure though. But Scott dies like 29 minutes in. And they try and make you feel something about it, even though he's barely done anything in this movie and barely been a character. He's had like maybe 1 scene in the 29 minutes of the movie. Maybe 2. And he says, "I don't want to die, it's my birthday." And then he gets killed a little bit later doing his job. You think he's about to die, but he doesn't, because the killer just walks past him. But he says freeze and points the gun at the killer, so he gets killed. Off screen. And then the only time he's mentioned after that is like right after, where the other rookie cop is like, "Oh no, I shouldn't have left him in there, it's all my fault." And then no one really comforts her either. They're kind of like, "Yep, that's your fault." They don't say that, but they don't comfort her. And he's never mentioned again. So they don't really do a good job at, making you feel for him or making you realize that he was a character in this movie. And then the other rookie cop just disappears from the movie after that until she's needed to be kidnapped by one of the main villains in the movie and held hostage. She actually surprisingly does survive, even though she was barely a character. But it's only for a joke at the end of the movie that she has to pay for all the drinks and alcohol because they're gonna celebrate saving the day or some BS. And she's like, oh, why do I have to do it? And they're like, oh, because you got kidnapped. That's a rookie mistake. It's so bad. And this one was actually kinda well received compared to the first one. I don't understand why, though. It's a very bad movie.